Hi everyone, it's me again. So we're on to part three now. I just want to talk a little bit more about what leaders and leader standard work looks like in a lean environment. I'm going to talk a little bit about three warlords that ruled over Japan hundreds of years ago, and these three warlords in successive years managed to unify the country and bring an end to the violence of what they call the Warring States period. Um, these unifiers all took a different approach to how um, Japan was brought into the modern age and how it became a very, um, I would say, in the modern age, a very team oriented environment, a place where the uh, the thinking and the theory around total quality management, which came out of America, became the idea and the concept of lean, as we, loosely coin it. I've got an interesting picture here I'm actually going to share with you, which I think is pretty cool. And I thought that you might get a kick out of it as well. So, this is a picture of that I took not that long ago of a suit of samurai ceremonial armor. And it was actually one of the shoguns of that unifying period. It was his ceremonial armor and quite spectacular. But beside it here, I've got another image of standard work to put on samurai armor. It actually got so peaceful during that period that the samurai had forgotten how to put on their armor. And from what I understand, this was one of their attempts at being able to help their samurai remember how to put it on, you know, at times of ceremony and so on and so forth. So even back then, the concept of leaders having standard work was a thing. Um, here's a here's something else I think that's probably quite interesting when we talk about standard work for leaders. There's a few levels to this. From a supervisor and team leader level, one of the things that they need to be doing for their teams is to facilitate the Kaizen and practical wisdom side of things on a day-to-day basis. And they need to be always working towards change for the better. Another part of their role that's really important for supervisors and team leaders is data gathering, because without the data, we can't understand how we are going against KPIs. It's also important to note that data and numbers aren't everything. Satisfaction in your job and people who are engaged and teams who enjoy what they're doing are also an important part of that. And so the supervisor and team leader are really in touch with that kind of thing. The manager is really there to monitor KPIs in a lot of respects. The other things that are very important from a lean point of view is making sure that you open doors and remove roadblocks for your supervisors. So you're there to facilitate, you know, their ability to get a bit better every day. And you're also there as a manager to run improvement projects. So to keep on top of the more major projects, the more documented things that are happening, and ensure that they run smoothly. It's important for a manager to be involved in facilitating problem solving too. It's the right level of influence needed up and down the management and the organizational structure to be able to, again, open the doors, remove the roadblocks, and so on and so forth. And then the concept of the leader. Now, at every level of a business, there are leaders within teams, small teams of people who do the work. There are leaders. There's people who show leadership ability and conduct themselves in a leader type manner. But in this case, I'm talking about the very top of the business. So your executives and senior managers who are above the manager and often in charge of, say, cost centers or departments and above. It's important for leaders to seek to understand what's going on, particularly down there in the work teams. So, as a leader, you need to be very in touch with what people are doing in your factory or office. It's important for leaders at this level to actually keep asking questions that lead to Kaizen and change towards the KPIs. So, you're managing the business based on these KPIs that the manager is monitoring for you, and you're expecting the people on the floor to gather data proving that we're moving towards those KPIs. So you do need to be in touch with every level of the business and be asking questions and be curious and continue to be curious. And I'm going to go into a bit more about how that all works in subsequent videos, but these are very important aspects at a high level.